more specifically to host our guest tonight, Shashank. I'll introduce him in a few minutes. For those of you who may not know me, although I think I know at least pretty much everybody on the cohort, my name is Tonya Karaoke, and I am a partner at Holistic Technology Services, and we are the implementation partners for InnoLab Ghana. It's great to see all of us on the call tonight. I know that we are expecting a few more people to join us, but I think that in the interest of time and to respect those who've actually arrived here in good time, it's a good time for us to kick off anyway. So tonight's conversation is, when we're putting together the program, we thought to ourselves that it would be really advantageous for us to be able to pull in a player in the insurance space that has really done a good job in terms of driving their own digital transformation and the utilization of technology in their operations. We've previously partnered with Prudential Assurance many times as we've delivered against this accelerator over the last year and a half. And it's really an honor today to have Shashank Rane join us on the call. Shashank works with Prudential as a senior manager for business transformation. And I'm really looking forward to an exciting agenda. In my mind and on a personal level, I've spent a number of years, and I don't want to age myself, but I've spent a number of years in the technology ecosystem. And increasingly over the past few years, the narrative around digital transformation or business transformation using technology is a conversation that every corporate will talk about, regardless of where you are. I think the advent of or the introduction of the startups that we're seeing in this space, and in particular for this conversation, the insurance industry, is really, in my view, only a plus for the ecosystem. And so I'm looking forward to Shashank sharing his experiences. We don't have a hard and set agenda, but I believe that from our brief to you, Shashank, we'll be able to explore Prudential's approach to your own digital transformation and how you use technology to attract, acquire, and retain customers, how you use it to optimize your operations, how do you take into consideration customer needs and customer requirements, and how this all coalesces into a strong transformation strategy for the organization. I really encourage a lot of questions, so I imagine that we will allow Shashank to share with us first, and then I'll open up for Q&A, which allows you to directly interact and ask questions. But if you do have a burning question throughout the session, the chat window is open and available, so please feel free to plug into that. So with that, I'm going to open the floor and invite Shashank. You're most welcome. Please share openly, and I'm really looking forward to this discussion.
Sure. Thanks, Tonya. Thanks very much for your welcome. And good evening, everyone. I'm definitely looking forward to good participation across all the participants. Thank you very much. So let me quickly introduce myself in terms of my experience. So I've been with Prudential for almost more than 15 years now, working in various verticals, working closely with the senior management within the business, and helping them drive process improvement, digitization, transformation agenda, so that they can probably go ahead and get those benefits, real benefits, back to the business once we actually implement the digitization or digital improvement agenda in the business. So that is something which is again my quick role. I will probably just share a quick slides which probably help us talk about what I'm exactly is going to share my experience with. So just give me a moment. Let me share my screen.
I'll let you know when we can see it.
Yes. When you start seeing the screen, please. Are you able to see my screen?
Can see your screen.
All right. So just quickly, just move on to the slides which I would like to talk about. So when it comes to digitization, probably I don't know, means just wanted to understand, what do you think about digitization? When do you think about digitization, right? So why we think of any kind of digitization in our business, in our organization. So that's a key one. That's the first important thing which we need to ask for, right? So The key one would be, obviously, we wanted to make sure that the time which the product or service takes to reach to the customer has to be in a respectable area, in terms of making sure that the product or service which reaches to the customer will always be on time or before time. So that's the bare minimum expectation from any business or any organization. So that's a key one. The second one, which is very, very important again for the businesses, to reduce the overall cost of delivery of the product or service which we offer to the customers. So that's again the key one, as we know. The third one is basically very important again, which is nothing but the quality of product or service which we offer to the customer. That has to be improved. So if we are struggling to achieve either of them or any of them, we need to make sure that we definitely involve or introduce digitization. So that's the key aspect of why we think we need to think about digitization and get digitization in our transformation journey. So these are the three key aspects which we think that probably need to be focused on, and any business or any organization needs to go and focus on these three key aspects. Now, when we say that, okay, these are the digitization triggers for me to go and think about digitization, what do we think about when we actually need to make sure that how we aim to achieve that? So we probably just need to make sure that the time which we deliver should be improved, the costs also need to be reduced, and at the same time, the quality of the product needs to be improved. So what we need to do to achieve that? So first thing is very important. We need to make our processes lean, right? So when I say lean, is basically making sure that all the handoff in the process or the function needs to be taken off. We need to make sure that the process end-to-end time has been reduced further. The unwanted non-value add things will be removed, and so on and so forth. So overall time to produce the product or deliver the product or service would be reduced. So we need to challenge our processes such that the non-value add things will be reduced from the overall processing of the product or service. We also need to make sure that wherever possible, we introduce the automation. Now, automation is a key and very important aspect of any kind of digitization, right? So when we think about making things quicker, or if you think about any light or switch which we switch it on, the light will get lighted. So that's something which we need to think about. The process automation is a key one for us to make sure that every process which has been introduced in the business, we need to make sure that that process would be how effectively we can do the automation in that specific process. Once we do the lean process in the organizations, once we take off all the non-value add from the businesses or processes rather. The most important thing again would be the collaboration with the partner. We need to make sure that the partner which we are dealing with or we are dependent on, we need to make sure that we collaborate with them quite closely. We need to make sure that we also encourage our partners to become the digital partner so that we can build that complete ecosystem around us who would help us in terms of deliver our digital objectives. So that's again a key one for us to make sure that we really go ahead and put real focus on collaboration with our partner and make sure that our partner also join us in the digital partnership or digital offering to our customers internally as well as externally. All right. So these are the key ones when we actually think about digitization and how we should go ahead and achieve our digitization is very important. In the subsequent slides, I'm just going to talk about three key case studies, which probably will help you understand what exactly the strategy which has been used by us in terms of making sure that how our process was earlier before digitization and when we actually did the digitization, how we achieved the customer satisfaction. At the same time, the overall cost and effectiveness of the process has been improved. All right. So let me just move on to the next slide, which I will talk about more in detail. So I don't know how many of you have been exposed to the insurance sector, but any kind of product or service within insurance, which we come up with for our customer needs to be distributed to the customers, right? So it's again important for us to become our digital distribution channel more efficient, more quick, and obviously every time when the customer uh, is in need or any product which our wider audience, so that we reach to the customer who are our target audience, and then we'll try and sell that product to the customer. Now, when 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 we started looking at this specific channel, why we thought of digitizing agency and banker channel. So banker is nothing but interacting with the bank and their customer. Agency is nothing but the agents who reach out to the prospective customer. And I'm just going to talk about what was the earlier process as against what we have delivered as part of digitization. All right. So if I have to understand, articulate a quick problem statement which was there earlier, it would be this process, which you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps, which is a conventional sales process of any of the agency or banker channel. All right. So if we go and understand the classic sale process of insurance, the agent goes and reaches to the prospective customer, and they once the customer is agreed to buy a policy with the insurance company, uh, the agent then offer a manual proposal form to the customer. I don't know, some of you or many of you may have already bought the policy with the insurance company. You have been asked to fill the form, get your information, and so on and so forth. The first step of the process was to update a manual paper proposal form, which has been signed either by the customer or by the agent, and then it's been given to the customer to get the signature. The second process is again manual ID verification. So ID card needs to be given to the customer, to the agent, so that he can validate. He will take the copy of the ID card and keep it with the proposal form. Third one is manual sanctions check. Again, this is a key activity in the insurance sector where we need to do the sanctions check whether the customer is not from any of the sanctions listed country or red flag country. Then comes the manual underwriting. It's again a key activity in the insurance sector where the underwriting of a proposal or application needs to be done by the underwriters who are qualified to give a decision whether the policy can be issued to the customer or not. So if you see the days next to every activity, these are the days which used to take when we used to follow this conventional process of paper, then verification manually, sanctions check, underwriting. Then comes the premium collection. Once everything is okay, then we used to collect the premium from the customer, and then finally issue the policy, which is basically nothing but the paper policy, the physical documents which insurance company logically issues to the customer. And finally, making sure that those policy documents would then be emailed, not emailed, but physically mailed to the policy owner on the day between day 5 to day 8. So that's a long drawn process which used to follow in the NBU's live business. So what is the key problem statement? Obviously, you can see high turnaround time, high cost of processing. So every time, every touch point which happens, there is a cost of processing because the individual was sitting there processing the application form, a proposal form, spending time on collecting all this information, verifying, and so on and so forth. And obviously the impact on quality as well. the overall quality of the delivery would have get impacted. All right. So the problem statement is basically these three criteria, and obviously the key one is delay to 8 days to best case. So when I say best case, is nothing but 60% of the overall submission or customers who used to submit their proposal form to us. 60% of them were kind of really simple cases, straight through cases, and probably 35 to 40% of the cases where the real decision were to taken by the underwriter to make sure that we issue the policy to the right proposer or right applicant, so that the insurance company would not really end up into issuing something which is not really feasible for us to go ahead and issue it. So this was the problem statement when we actually used to follow the conventional method as part of selling policies to the end customers by the distribution channel. Now what we have done, so how we have attempted to achieve the digitization in this entire process, right? So as we understand, the problem statement is 8 days to issue the policy, high processing time, and obviously impact on the quality. What we have done to improve our journey from this process to the new improved process as part of digitization, right? So this was the process. So you can see the complete revamp had happened. We have started capturing the proposal forms digitally, electronically using the mobile devices. We have that, if you see the right hand side, okay, the number of days, right? Capture and verify their ID. So if the customer is ready with his or her ID card, the agent or the person who is selling the policy to the customer, they take the photograph of the image of the ID and they verify that ID digitally using the mobile devices, because it has the integration back to the databases. Integration with the sanction solution. So we do the integration with specific solutions like Dow Jones or Fiserv, those kind of solution, to understand if there is any sanction flag or country flag which is being given by the system, so that we restrict ourselves from onboarding any such customer who is from a red flag country. So this is all automated. If you see the syncing, so it talks back to the back office system or policy administration system or any of the third party application, which basically talks to the mobile devices of the agent, and the complete automation happens real time. At the same time, auto risk based underwriting. So depending on the overall risk value of the customer which is proposed for, auto underwriting happens, and the policy gets issued immediately or approved immediately by the underwriter, or auto underwriting. Only in such cases where the risk value is higher, it goes to the underwriter for the manual processing or manual review of those policies or proposal. Real-time premium collection. Now, this is again a key activity where in earlier case we used to wait for the premium used to come to us and then finally issue the policy. In this case, on the likes of mobile money and the likes of credit cards, debit cards, online transfer, all those aspects were open for the customers to start contributing from day one and force premium to the customers, to the insurance company, so that we can get that premium, apply that premium immediately to the policy which has been issued by the underwriter. And once the premium is collected from the customer on the same day, the policy will then be issued by the system, backend system, immediately, and it hits back to the policy owner's email account. So that if you see the overall scenario, earlier it used to take around 8 days. Now the same process has been achieved on the same day. So that's the moment of digitization, moment from where we were to where we are now. Now, if you see, there is an improvement in overall turnaround time, reduction in cost, because there is very minimal or no involvement of any of the back office person unless it is really required in case of the risk-based underwriting. Improved quality because there is no need for anybody to manually entering proposal details. The person who is selling the policy is capturing every information, getting it verified from the customer, and then submitting the policy. That means overall improvement in the quality, at the same time high morale of the overall people, or my distribution channel who is selling the policy to the customer. So as soon as he sells the policy to the customer, obviously if he had to wait for 8 days to understand what would be the commission for him to get once the policy will be enforced. In this case, the policy will be sold on the same day, and obviously he can see, the agent also can see how much commission he's going to earn at the end of the policy sale, so that he will also be happy. At the same time, the customer would also be happy because he is going to get all the policies issued on the same day. So that's overall transformation which we have achieved as part of distribution channel transformation in agency and banker channel. All right. So this is one of the case study which we have, which I thought would probably add value, and you would understand how the transformation in terms of digitization had achieved in Prudential. I will just move on to the next case study, which would probably be more interesting. And in this specific case study is currently ongoing, and we are in the process of introducing it in various LPUs in Africa now. These are this transformation is already live in Asia, in most of the countries, and we aim to have this included in Africa as well. All right, I'll just move on to the next one. Again, similar to the earlier case study, why we thought of digitizing group or SME business. So SME is nothing but small and medium enterprise businesses, where the individual go and start their own business. So just to give a gist of what is group business or SME business, is nothing but a group of people come together, and insurance companies sell policy to that group of business, or group of business come to insurance company and they ask to cover their employee base in a specific scheme of insurance, so that their employees and their dependents, if required, will be covered in an insurance policy. All right. So predominantly in this case, the involvement of group HR or SME HR is quite important. So what is the problem statement in this specific case? All right. So these are the few activities which were the critical activities or critical asks which the group or SME business were facing, right? So first one was around no real-time view of active member in the group. So any point of time, if the agents, if the HR or the group head wanted to see how many real-time, how many active members there are in the policy or in the group which are actively insured under the screen, it was not really available real time. So it was need based. They had to request Prudential to provide that level of list, and Prudential used to take probably around a couple of days to generate, depending on the availability of the individual, used to go to the group so that their need would be fulfilled. No real-time view of claims made. So any of the claims which has been made by the agency, by the customer or employees in this case, it was not really clearly available at a real-time basis on the click of a button. So they again have to request for Prudential or insurance company to get that information. Sometimes it is very critical for the HR to understand what's their claim ratio is, what's the loss ratio is in terms of how much premium I have paid as against how much claim the employees have made, so that to understand what's the loss ratio of the policy. Physical enrollment form updation by employees. So anytime any new scheme or any new group used to get onboarded, employers are expected to collect the form from the employee, who are expected to fill the form, enrollment form and hand it over to the insurance company or broker. And it used to take around 2 to 3 days, in some days probably a week. So there is a level of delay in that overall process. Obviously the bottleneck at HR end, because if there are any addition or deletion to the list or the scheme or the group, it used to remain with HR in some cases, and it used to get delayed if the HR would not really submit that specific addition or deletion on time. Addition, obviously, if you delay, the chance of getting included that specific employee or dependent would be delayed. In case of deletion, if you delay further to inform to the insurance company, that much of additional premium you have to pay to the insurance company, and that's a key driving factor of this thing. Insurance or issuance of physical ID card to the active members, and again this is again one of the activity which is in some cases HR had to follow. And once they collect the ID card, they had to distribute across all the members and their dependents and so on. It used to take around 4 to 8 days in that case. The last one was around a no real-time view of the policy terms and benefits. So as a user, as an employee, or as a HR of the company or group, there was no real-time view of what are the different policy terms, or what are the exclusion which is being included, what are the different benefits which has been offered to the group, and so on and so forth. So every time employee wanted to understand what are the benefits and everything else, HR used to refer to the document and probably just give that. Audible.
Yeah, Shashank, we lost you for a few seconds there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Am I audible?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead. Yes.
All right. So this was the problem statement. Lot of admin activities for HR, and at the same time, employees were also getting impacted because they had to do all this activity manually. So this was the key problem statement at the group level, or the group or SME business level. So how did we achieve it? So what we have done differently to tackle this specific problem? All right. So this was our improved journey, right? So we kind of bifurcated this entire process into two aspects. One is HR interface, where we had given HR a view in terms of tackling various things. So HR have been given different views, like online employee validation and approval. So HR on a click of a button can see and validate and approve whatever request has been made by the employer to include themselves or any of their dependent who is eligible to get included in the scheme. Real-time view of claims made. So it's again a very important ask, and it was one of the important asks because obviously they wanted to understand what would be my loss ratio at the end of the policy period, so that if I go for the renewal, I don't need to pay additional premium, or if I have to if the employer or HR is expected to benefit or get bonus on the policy if they go for the renewal. Real-time view of the policy terms and benefits. So obviously, as everything is available online, the policy terms and benefits were available for HR and group head to have a look at it. Real-time view of the active members. Now, when we had provided this specific interface to the employer, they can view all this information, all the active members, minusing the employer, the employee, and the dependents who are then made deactivate from the policy because obviously they have left the company for whatever reason. And obviously hassle-free renewal process. As I said, as the active member list is available for the customers, for the group member, they can go ahead and use the similar list to make the renewal of the policy if they're interested in the existing policy terms with the insurance company. So that is what we have achieved as part of HR interface. In terms of employee interface, what we have managed to provide to them, right? So we have also provided employees with online enrollment of their details, at the same time dependence details. So they can use their handheld devices or websites to go and enroll all their information electronically on a site or a mobile app. All right. Uh, they can also go ahead and register a claim online. They can submit the claim. They can also track their claim in terms of understanding where their claim is at the same time. If there are any documentation which are required, they can even respond to those kind of requests from the insurance company. The third one is around digital medical card. Now, this is quite key, offering to the member of the scheme, because unlike a physical medical ID card, we have provided the digital medical ID card to the scheme member or the employees of the group, so that medical card can then be used in various network hospitals to get admitted as part of offering to the scheme member access to the network hospital. As I mentioned, I think they can use that card and get access to the network hospital of the scheme or the insurance company. The last one is around the real-time view of the policy terms and benefits. This is kind of a common between both policy owner or probably HR or group member and obviously the employee can go ahead and look at what are the different policy terms Prudential or insurance companies offering to them, and what are the different benefits, instead of going to HR every time. Everything is available on the mobile app or online, where they can go and refer to all this information. So if you see, the problem statement was, okay, what are the different things which were not really part of the earlier offering? We have converted that into the complete online digital platform for obviously first HR, then the employee as well, and their dependent. All right, so this is the transformation from kind of a non-digital way to the actual digital way, which we have moved from for group and SME business. So this is currently ongoing in various Asian LBUs, and we intend to move or probably learn from their experience and get that included in Africa as well. And as we speak, it's in the process of planning and delivering as part of delivery to the different live business unit in Africa as well. All right. So I'll just move on to the third and the last case study of Prudential, which is direct to customer or omni-channel integration. This is again in progress or ongoing initiative which is happening in Africa. So what we thought of when we actually start thinking about digitizing D2C, the direct to customer channel, and partnering with our digital partner, as we always keep on saying that we need to collaborate with our digital partners quite effectively. We need to make sure that we need to bring them in our overall digital ecosystem. It's a key activity for us, and we need to make sure that we partner with them really effectively, so that we come up with that specific strong proposition for our customers, and at the same time our partners as well as us will get maximum benefit out of it. So what was the opportunity? So in earlier case studies you may have seen that it's a problem statement, but over here I'm talking about opportunity statement, because nowadays direct to customer is one of the key aspect and key sales channel which has been looked at by most of the businesses, not only insurance company but various businesses across various verticals. So what we are targeting, what's our opportunity statement, right? So as you may have seen, most of us or all of us is using mobile phones, smartphones. It's kind of given, right? So any person who is generation X or Y or even generation Z, everybody is using mobile phone. What we thought of is basically, let's target these people who would probably, obviously we know for the fact that generation X and Y is still working, and working audience, businesses, and so on and so forth. So it's important for us to target this audience or that population, so that we know these all these people are trading using their mobile phones, trading using their laptops, desktop, and so on and so forth, and hence a maximum opportunity for them to uh, always connected to digital environment, using either mobile phone or any devices or any gadgets which they think that probably would be available. So there is an opportunity for us to target Gen X, Y, and Z. Z not so much at this point of time, but obviously as the year goes by, we will then start targeting Generation Z as well. The second one is around the large market for bite-sized products and add-on. So obviously, as most of the people are spending most of the time on digital platforms, it's important for us to also start targeting them and making sure that the small bits of products will then be offered to the customer. You may have observed that if you try to buy something on Jumia app, it also says that okay, the similar products have been bought along with X product and Y product. So if you try to buy something, by default the recommendation comes that okay, along with that you can also buy this and that. So that is one of the aspects which we want to tap in terms of making sure that as we are tapping the larger market digitally direct to customer, we also make sure that we offer those bite-sized products and add-ons to the customers, so that uh, they 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 probably be encouraged to buy the policies online as well, instead of having involvement of any of the distribution channel. The third one is around the ongoing engagement with the existing customer. Now, this is again a key one to make sure that the existing policy owners, at the same time, the new prospective customers who are not yet the policy owner but will be involved in the overall ecosystem of what we are trying to offer to the customer. So be it any mobile application or any online service which we are offering to the customer, or involved in any of the ecosystem which has been offered by our digital partners. So the next one, if we see collaboration with other partners to provide a personalized product. So if we are connecting with any of our digital partners, right, we need to make sure that while they are equally important for us, at the same time we need to make sure that the offering which we have uh, for our customer to offer, they would also be equally responsible. At the same time, whatever is being offered by our partner to the customer will also be visible when we actually when the customer will access our application or websites. So that is kind of collaboration digitally. The last one was around opportunity to reduce overall overheads and advertising costs. Again, if we when we are targeting this for the digital direct to customer, obviously the overall head count or overall overhead of the spend which we do reduces quite significantly. There is no need for any of the middle person to sell the policy. There is no need of any agency channel. There is no need of any of the banker individual to get involved. Sometimes customer doesn't like get connected over the phone or any cold calling or any of the face-to-face interaction. They just wanted to go by their own pace and want to explore the products which are available in the product suite, instead of they've been harassed, getting called from the agents or any of the other people. And obviously overall advertising cost of advertising digitally is quite significantly low as compared to any physical advertisement or pamphlet or or you know other than digital advertisement is quite expensive. So these are the key consideration or opportunities which we identified within the overall space when we actually targeted direct to customer kind of solution or probably integration which we are targeting to achieve. Now, again, how we aim to do that again is it's a key one, and this is one of the things which I think Prudential have managed to achieve to a level in Asia, and we are aiming to bring it back to Africa as well as one of the key aspect when we actually think about the digitization. Now, what we have done so as part of offering product suites or different products which are available as part of overall offering to the customer, we have partnered with our digital partners quite significantly. So if you see this specific activity, right? So we have integrated with our uh, bank mobile app. We have integrated with shopping mobile app, and then telco, the news channels, and then health app. So these are the various segments. If you see bank mobile, if any of the bank user is trying to access their mobile application for the specific bank, okay, they would start seeing the offering which is been offered by the insurance company, like Prudential. Say for example, I'm accessing say Standard Chartered Bank application. Uh, as part of offering, I would start saying, okay, there's an insurance product which is available from Prudential. Would you be interested in buying that? So we are kind of tapping into their ecosystem to offer our product. At the same time, if you see this line going down, right? So the Pulse app, so which has been offered by the insurance company Prudential. In our ecosystem, if we think that probably there is some level of financial requirement is there, we also cross it back with the bank. At the same time, integration with shopping mobile application. So on the likes of Jumia, if any individual is shopping on Jumia app, and as part of getting involved in their ecosystem, we also offer some of that product to the app user, so that if they're interested in any of the bite-sized products or small penny-sized product, or probably if there are say 500 shelling which needs to be shelled by the individual on the likes of buying any dengue product or malaria product or something like that. They can buy the policy immediately when they're actually exploring various options which are available on the shopping mobile app. Telco again, and the news telco on the likes of Vodafone or Safaricom and so on and so forth. I'm just giving you an example. Um, when you actually interact with their mobile application, you will find the offerings which has been made by Prudential, which they have option to go ahead and buy the policy online digitally, because we have integrated with with those digital partners to make sure that our policies or our products, our offerings will be visible for those channels or those customers who are accessing their mobile application. Similarly, with the health mobile applications, where on the likes of Babylon or Ada or any of the health application which is available, we can go ahead and excuse me, partner with them in terms of offering the different products which are available. At the same time, we bring them back in Pulse ecosystem as well, where we offer variety of things which are available in the Pulse app. So if you see the last point, invite our customers to Prudential's Pulse ecosystem, which offers variety of things, including we encourage people or customers or participants to participate in challenge or campaigns which has been offered by the insurance company. We encourage them to earn and redeem the loyalty points wherever possible. Subscribe for various services which has been offered by the insurance company, buy products online if they are interested in, on or probably do the self-service of any of the requests which they want to make to the Prudential company in terms of changing the beneficiary details, changing the phone number, email address, or whatever information they wanted to make amendment to the policy details. They can still go ahead and do their activity by themselves by accessing the Pulse mobile application. And obviously, if they wanted to connect with any of our experts, they can go ahead and connect with the agents or any of the doctors, dietitian, and so on and so forth. It also allows us to generate the leads. If the customer has gone to a specific aspect, a specific function or feature, and if they think that they probably needs to be consulted with one of our expert, our expert will then probably connect with the customer appropriately depending on whatever the requirement the customer would have when they access any of the features within the Pulse app, and so on and so forth. So that's how we intend to tap in the new market. As you see the opportunity statement over there, at the same time what we are seeing is, okay, these are the ways which we can go ahead and interact or integrate our offerings with various various distribution or digital partners which are available, and we can go ahead and have the partnership with those key digital partners so that we can continue to offer our offering, and at the same time making sure that the customer will be involved in overall ecosystem and continue to keep engaging customers in the entire ecosystem of what we are trying to achieve. So that was the third case study which I wanted to take you all through. The last slide which I have around the Prudential's target state which we want to achieve. So if you see the complete maturity model over here, and specifically focusing on the technology aspect of it. So if you see the basic, industry average, optimal, and the best in class, right? We wanted to reach to a level where we would be best in class insurer in Asia and Africa. To make sure that we reach that level, we still need to work on various things, and next 2 to 3 years we'll definitely aim to be a best in class in the market, right? So at this point of time, we are obviously managing with electronic point of sale. We have done a lot of integration. We are partnering with our digital partners to make sure that we offer that overall offering to the customers. We integrate with various new technologies. At the same time, we also need to make sure that come next couple of years, we will do the real-time changes to the offering of processes depending on what the suitable process for the business to go into the market and tap more and more customer, and make sure that those customers would then be getting benefit out of the offerings which we are offering to the customer. And the most ultimate goal is making our customer healthier and wealthier when they actually join us in the overall digital journey which Prudential is aiming to offer to the customers in the next 2 to 3 years. If you see the aim for us to be state would be in best in class, where we are doing the complete omni-channel automation, where we will be creating the complete ecosystem of offering that the overall offering to the customers using various platforms and various channels which are available in the market. So that's about what Prudential wanted to achieve in the next 2 to 3 years. At the same time what we have achieved so far. Hopefully the 3 case studies which I talked about make sense, and it would probably may have already give you some level of understanding in terms of what automation which we have managed to achieve so far and what is in pipeline for us to achieve at a long term. All right, so I'll probably pause here for a moment, and if there are any questions or any comments, I'm more than happy to take that over.
Yes, thank you, Shashank. We seem to have a few hands up, so there's a couple of questions for you from the audience. I'm going to go ahead and just field those. 1 second. And I'm sorry, I didn't see the real order, but I think Newton had his hand up first. So I'm going to ask Newton. Okay, I can see the order. Newton to go first. After Newton, we'll have Abdul, and then we'll have FigTech after that. So Newton, please unmute yourself and go ahead with your question. And for everybody else, you can either put up your hand or you can type your question into the chat window. Yes, Newton.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Yes, my question is, has Prudential actually tested the digitalization process in the microinsurance sector, and what was the result?
Okay, so Newton, thank you very much for that question. And yes, as part of offering to the customer, yes, we have also explored microinsurance sector. There's something called as USSD. I'm sure you must be aware of it. So we have explored that option in terms of offering micro insurance to the customers using USSD technology. All right.
Newton, do you want to follow up the question, or are you? I feel that maybe you're expecting a little bit more. And you're on mute, Newton, in the event that you're speaking. Okay, maybe we park Newton for a minute. Sure. Let's go to Abdul. Your question, please.
Hi, Shashank. Thank you very much for the presentation. So my question is, per our research, one thing we found out was that most established insurance companies find it quite easier transforming to digital audience. So what I have for you is how do you think startups like insurtech startups can build trust digitally when they are about starting?
Okay, that's a really good question again, Abdul. So if I understand your question correctly, what you're talking about is how the new player in the insurance company can benefit by offering digital products. Is that your question? If I understand you correctly.
No, please. So my question is, one of the issues that we have in Ghana here is the lack of trust between the populace and insurance firms, right? And as an insurtech company, how well do you think an insurtech company can build trust with audience digitally?
Okay, got that. So if I have to summarize what we can do is basically the couple of case studies which I talked about, right? So the first one is very important for us to make sure that we don't really delay, right? Most important thing is time of delivery of any of the product or process or product or service rather. Now, if we continue to delay the service or product, obviously we are going to lose faith in that service or product. That's a key one. And the most important thing for us to make sure that whatever information which we are expected to receive from the customer or prospective customer or user, we must get all that information in one go. Now, the device which we are looking at in terms of using when we sell the policy to the customer captures most of the information digitally, and there is no need for us to go back and forth, because what happens is the complete validation happens through and through, straight through. There is no need for us to go back and forth with the customers, get validation. If somebody is not happy with information which has been given by the customer agency in the back office, we have to go back to the customer and so on and so forth, right? So it's again important that we make sure that all this information are available real time, and we make sure that the offering or the service or the product which has been offered to the customer reaches to the customer quite quickly. So be it using the technology which has been used by the distribution channel, or the real-time availability of the product suite to the customer, so that every information is available at the customer's hand at his pace, and they can look at the complete suite of product. They can shortlist the product. They can add rider as needed. They can pay premium as they go, and immediately get the policy issued for their requirement. So if you have to if I have to summarize, we need to make sure that we should definitely reduce the overall time to market when it comes to engaging with the customer.
All right, thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.
And Shashank, I'd just like to probably add to that, or maybe pick your brain a little bit on that one. I mean, I imagine for a lot of people on this call who are in tech startups, right? And you're trying to break into a market that already struggles with the concept of trust, right? So consumer trust and so on. And and how much of a role does stuff like, for example, transparency? I mean, I'm a consumer of insurance. I find it an opaque universe. I'm not sure half the time what I get and if I'm actually going to get it. And sometimes I don't want to, it just feels like this, it's like a gamble, right? So how much do elements such as trust, such as your service levels, such as privacy, for example, how much of a role does that play in terms of being able to build what I would generally refer to as digital trust or trust in digital systems or solutions?
Okay, absolutely, and that's again a very important question. And at Prudential, we all are committed to maintain the privacy of the customer, and most importantly, making sure that it's all driven by the customer. So when we actually offer anything to the customer, or customer come to us with some level of requirement, we need to make sure that the privacy clause is been agreed by the customer. They understand that correctly, and then make sure that we then onboard them. At the same time, we need to make sure that the customer has the option to getting out of the agreement within 10 days or 15 days, depending on whatever the regional requirement is, or regulatory requirement is, in terms of making sure that if the customer is not happy with the services, they can come out of the agreement quite clearly. And it's clearly mentioned in the offering which we offer to the customer using mobile devices, or any of the online offering which we make to the customers.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. And great question, Abdul. Okay, so FigTech, you can unmute and ask the question.
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me, please?
Absolutely, we can hear you.
Great. So thank you for your presentation, Shashank. I think it's well laid out in terms of what Prudential want to do. My question is, Prudential is, if you look at Prudential Africa, is part of a group. So with your various subsidiaries in different countries, when it comes to decision making with respect to how you partner with innovative insurtechs, is the decision taken at a group level, or these decisions are done at a country level? And my second question is, to what extent is Prudential comfortable using insurtechs, especially, let's say, apps, to reach the last mile?
Okay. All right. So I'll aim to answer your first question, which was mainly around the decision which has been made at a group level or a regional level. So Prudential across Asia and Africa follows the same policy, which is at a group level. All the LBUs in Prudential were expected to follow the group policies. Any assessment which needs to be done as part of the digital partners, which we intend to onboard, had to be done in line with the group policies, irrespective of whichever country it may be. So that's a key one, and the due diligence happens at looking at the group policy requirement, in terms of, okay, these are the things which we must have when we look at any of the digital partner to onboard as part of a digital partnership with the customer. So with the partner. So that's a key one. So just to answer your question again briefly, we follow the group digital norms to make sure that the partner which we aim to onboard will reach or will meet the required level of requirement uniformly across. The second question which you ask about how the fintech companies like you can get benefit out of it, if that's the correct question, if I recollect.
No, come again. I know you guys. You doing some. You are partnering up with Pulse in Asia, etc. And I'm just trying to understand to what extent that Prudential looks at how information about customers are shared with third parties like insurtechs.
Okay. So from third party perspective, it's again we have a policies. When we actually do the due diligence of those third party, we need to make sure that we sign the agreement, non-disclosable agreement, to make sure that all the information which goes to the third party are depending on the regulatory requirement of those LPUs. We need to define the rule of data residency in those respective countries to make sure that the information or data doesn't really go beyond what has been agreed as part of the regulatory requirement for that specific region. All right. Hope that answers the question.
Thank you.
All right. Siani, I can see your hand up.
Hi, yeah, thanks. Just so like a follow-up question from the previous participant. With regards to Prudential's digital strategy, is it more of around where you have one anchor insurtech that you partner with to provide you with the digital solutions, or is it an in-house built technology platform that you make use of, or are you open to multiple partnerships provided that they're aligned to your business growth strategy?
Yeah, so if I were to answer that question, we are not really rigid in terms of making sure that only the internal technology team would offer the offering. So yes, it has to be a collaborative effort, as you may have seen the earlier slides. We want to make sure that we work collaboratively with various digital partners, the one which were there on the slides. At the same time, any new partner which we think that more suitable for our business offerings, and at the same time meets the required technical specs which we expect the partner to be coming with, we will definitely go ahead and partner with them.
Great. I hope that answers your question, Siani.
Yes, it does. Thank you. Thanks.
Okay. Shashank, I have a couple of questions for you, just as we wait for a few more questions from the audience. I saw on your slide, you talked about how you achieved then your digital transformation agenda, and obviously there was a conversation around, you talked about collaborating with partners. And I think that's a very pertinent conversation for the folks on this call. I know in as much as you said, you're in a corporate structure and so on, even for you internally, you have to present a value proposition to the leadership of your organization and get the right level of stakeholder buy-in and approvals to be able to move on with all these elements that you described, like the 3 case studies that you shared with us. What tips would you have for the folks on this call who often find themselves sitting with an organization such as yours and with the leadership of that organization in terms of being able to position the value to that group of people? Like, are there any tricks and tips that you can share with us?
Yeah, so it's again a good question, and for any new entrants in the market, obviously the most important thing for them to understand what's the end customer requirements are, right? So first of all, we need to make sure that if you are pitching somebody or some organization or some business owner in terms of the offering which you have, you need to make sure that what business they are into is the key one. At the same time, if we talk more about how the overall offering will benefit them in terms of finally making sure that okay, if we have to go with the offering which has been offered by you guys, how that will help complete the overall ecosystem of the business, because ultimately if they have to work collaboratively with the business, they need to make sure that both the parties will then be benefit out of it. At the same time, we have something called as work streams, right? For every activity which we think that probably more focusing on specific things, like on the likes of say any legal activities is been taken care of by legal work stream. Marketing activities been taken care by marketing work stream, IT by IT work stream, and so on and so forth. So every vertical have their own work stream, and they are responsible to make sure that the requirement of fulfilling or delivering that specific project will then be supported by every work stream. So while we are pitching something to the business to adopt, we need to make sure that we understand that each and every work stream and every stakeholder within the project or the business is understood appropriately, and make sure that any question which come from their side and anticipate the question basically, or instead of they asking you questions, you ready with the answer, or probably just upfront tell them, okay, these are the things which we are looking from the marketing side, these are the things which we are looking from IT side, legal side, and we have covered all the aspects when you actually look at the overall offering which we are offering to the customers or to you guys. So these are the key ones. So you manage to cover all the stakeholders in the meeting at the same time in the business as well.
Okay, great. I know we have Newton back. Newton, did you want to come back on your question? I know you dropped off in the middle of that.
Sure, I would like to. The follow-up questions. The follow-up question was actually, has Prudential actually tested the digitalization process in Africa? And for I haven't come across any document or any document respect to that. So I wanted to know how was their experience, and I know probably in Asia it has been, but I don't know in Africa if it has been implemented so far. So I just wanted to get an overview if it has been done, and what was the success story for about that.
So Newton, for micro insurance, there are two markets which I know they are in the process of implementing it. I have just seen a demo a couple of days back, maybe yesterday, when we had our working group session, where one of the LBU have presented their offering, what they're offering to the customer as part of micro insurance. They are using USSD as a platform to offer that to the customers, and this has been offered in one of the francophone countries, I think either Cameroon or Togo, somewhere there. All right.
Yes, I got that. I got that. So I equally, I just wish to know, it's Prudential open to work with probably an intermediary who actually concentrate on the marketing of policies, probably microinsurance, working with them, and in the same time utilizing their digitalization platform. I don't know if you get the question.
Yes, so that is part of digitization also, because see, if again, USSD platform is something which is, as you all know, maybe you may have used sometime, right? You don't need to have any of the smartphone to use that. You can use any of the feature phone, which can be used to use that USSD solution, where the customer can send some codes out and then get the policy lined to your existing policy. At the same time, you can also go and understand what's your contribution of premium, whether the policy is active. At the same time, what's the benefit which you're going to get at the end of the policy period, and so on and so forth. So everything is available in USSD. We are trying to tap the customer base where the customers are not using the smartphone devices, but the simple feature phones in that case.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe I can interject, Newton, and just maybe ask the question a bit more directly. I think Shashank, and I think it ties to two other individuals. I think Siani was one, and I forget who the other person was that asked the question.
Sorry,
I think the question is how open is Prudential to partnering with any of the insurtechs on this call? I know that you mentioned earlier that collaboration with partners is a big, one of your big your big paths to digitization. So what would your response be to the folks on this call who are interested in approaching Prudential in a partnership agenda, whether it's in micro insurance? I believe that's what Newton is asking specifically about. Is there an appetite for that kind of partnership?
We can look at that options. We are, as I said, we are quite open to understand what are the offerings we have on the table. The key important thing is we don't want to get stuck in a specific solution. We want to make sure that the solution which is kind of easy to adopt, scalable, at the same time cost effective. So as most of the businesses go for this kind of triangle to achieve the maximum benefit for their customers and the stakeholders. So I'm quite open to hear from whatever offerings which you may have to have a look at it.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Newton?
Very well, very well. I think that you asked the question better than I
No problem.
So.
Okay. All right. So if anybody else has another question, you're welcome, Newton. Okay. If anyone else has another question, please proceed and put up your hand. In the meantime, I'll ask my second question to you, Shashank. So, whenever I look at a digital transformation agenda, in my mind, and I think you've touched on some of these, right? So it's optimizing operations, and you spoke about improving time to deliver and improving quality. I think of transforming your existing products and services, and you spoke about that. And I think a lot of your demos, particularly around the automation piece, were very much geared towards transforming current offerings. I think about, how you engage your customers, and I think your last example on the Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z solution and how you've partnered with different ecosystem digital players really speaks to how you engage your customers in a new way or in current more personalized experiences. So I think you spoke to those. I think for me, the one piece that I was looking for, and you may have mentioned it anecdotally when you spoke about morale, is the impact of this on your staff, on your people. Right. Would you mind spending 1 or 2 minutes around? I mean, I think it's an important point, and not just because I love conversations around people, which I confess I do. But I think we're so busy half the time positioning a strong value proposition that has everything to do with optimizing operations, reducing costs, reducing time to market, transforming products, but we forget about that everything rotates around your people. So what has the impact of this been? And I'd like that as a demonstration to the folks on the call around how, I'd love to hear your articulation of what the impact is of this journey on your people at Prudential.
Absolutely. I won't be able to share any of the numbers upfront, but I can definitely talk about what are the benefits or what's the impact on the morale of the overall distribution channel, if may. So yeah. So obviously, as I mentioned initially, the overall time to sell any of the policy to the customer was taking around 8 days. Obviously, the frustration at a level where the requirement which are required for us to get from the customer, and then finally handing it over to the back office operations was a really long time. And as it used to take longer time, and obviously towards the end of the process, if the back office says that, okay, we are yet to receive X document or Y document, this document doesn't seem correct, or the signature is not right, or so on and so forth. It was really a frustrating activity for the agency force or the person who is selling to go back to the customer again, get that information. Customer is unhappy because obviously you have not told me this document is required upfront, and then I have to give that information. And the overall process used to go back and forth for some time and some reason. That overall, processing time have reduced to the same day because obviously everything is being captured digitally, which help customer or probably the agency for who's selling the policy to manage and capture everything on a single day. That helps, sell the policy on the same day, at the same time making sure that he can concentrate on something else, something which is really important for him in terms of making sure that looking at additional sales and additional leads, which he can go ahead and attend and bring back more business into the group and into the organization, and which will probably add value again in terms of the commission he or she gets from the sales of the policy. And that again a key activity or key important aspect of any individual, and it helps boost the morale of the customer, morale of the agency for the person who is selling the policy. All right.
So in other words, the agility that these solutions brought to the organization, you're definitely seeing a tangible impact on the morale of the people.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, I have one question. I think that this was a follow-on question to our previous discussion on partnerships, which is to ask, how can InsurTechs contact you outside of this conversation? Is it as simple as, you'll publish your email, and if they feel they've got a great solution, they can reach out to you? Some guidance on how that would happen at Prudential would be great. And then Doreen, I see your hand up. I'll come to you next.
Yeah, Doreen, go ahead.
Sorry, Shashank. Just before Doreen, I was saying that somebody had typed a question in the window, which was a follow-on question asking, outside of this conversation, how can anyone interested on this call reach out to you? Is it as simple as you will publish your email address and they can write to you, or would you be able to provide some guidance on how people can reach out to you for potential partnerships?
My email address is on the chat box. They can reach out to me.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, Doreen, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Shashank. That's I'm really impressed by all the work that Prudential has done in this area. If I'm not mistaken, in Ghana, you're only active in the life insurance industry. And so I'm wondering, for those of us that are more geared towards the non-life industry, do you, with your knowledge of the ecosystem, which other insurers would you say are also kind of having the digitization ambition, or are working on this as much as Prudential is?
I think most of the insurers, or all of the insurance company, is driving the digitization agenda nowadays. So I don't see any future other than digitization going forward. So I can't really talk about any other insurance company, but definitely if we have to survive in the market, or to be the leader of the business, we need to make sure that we digitize our entire journey to a level where all our customers would be involved in the complete ecosystem.
Yeah, thanks. Is there any specific one that stands out to you that's at the forefront of the digitization journey in the non-life industry, or not so much?
And frankly, if you ask me, I have not really haven't done any kind of research on that, but it's a question for me to take back and do the research.
Sure, yeah, thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Doreen. All right. I think we don't seem to have any more questions from the audience. Shashank, I'd like to ask, as we wrap up the call, and I'll wrap up with what I feel were some of the key points that came out of the discussion today. But if there was two things you wanted everybody on this call to leave with, whether it's across your learnings and your insights, having walked through and continuing to walk through this digitalization journey at Prudential, whether it's in terms of what, from your perspective, the real market opportunity looks like for organizations that are in the business of digitizing the insurance value chain. Would there be two kind of parting words of wisdom that you would like to share with the audience?
Well, so two words would be definitely be part of the overall ecosystem of whatever the offering is to the customer, and customer being in the center of whatever we do as part of offering to the customer. So make sure that whoever the partner is, we need to make sure that we come up to a level where the digital offering which we offer to the customer would be equally important, and at the same time make sure that customer gets the maximum benefit out of whatever we are offering, because that's the way we have been always taught, and we understand that the customer is always a king, and we need to make sure that the customer will get involved in the overall journey of whatever digitization which we do. At the same time, we also involve our internal and external partners. So that's a key one. We collaborate equally with customer as well as the partner. All right.
Great. Good. So we are at almost, we've got about 30 minutes to go, but I think that we're in a good space. I think we seem to have lost Shashank, actually. So I'm going to give him a second or two to see if he'll get back on. Here he is. Okay, Shashank, we have you back?
Yeah.
All right. Were you done with your parting words?
Yeah, I'm done. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I want to thank everybody for joining the call today. I took a bunch of notes as you were speaking, Shashank. I think some of the questions were really great. In fact, all the questions were great and really helped spur additional conversations. I think for me, if to sort of round it off, number one, I think it's wonderful that Prudential Africa is open to partnerships, encouraging people to reach out. For those of you that may have missed it, we've posted, Shashank has posted his email address in the chat window. So I encourage you to think deeply around what sort of partnerships would you be looking for with an entity like Prudential, and then reach out with that in mind. So thank you so much for that and for your openness, Shashank, and willing to kind of partner with the team that we have on the call. I think that there was a really great conversation around how you view digitization internally at Prudential, and the different core areas of focus. So if I was anybody on this call and I wanted to partner with Prudential, I would remember what was on the first slide, which is this something that is improving time to deliver? Is this something that's reducing cost? Or is this something that is improving quality of the product or service at Prudential? And I think that for me is a strong validation point around how to kick off or how to structure and really be able to drive the right stakeholder engagement at Prudential and ensure that you're hitting the right notes. So thank you so much, Shashank, for sharing those pieces with us. I think it was really helpful. I particularly liked the conversation on trust. I think that it's a conversation that over a cup of coffee or a glass of wine, depending on what your poison is, would be a very interesting and philosophical discussion. But I know that it is a space that a lot of startups, and not just in insurance, but across the board, are consistently struggling with. How do you get consumers to trust a digital entity or a digital product or a digital solution or a digital medium of distribution. And you know, we talked a little bit on how you deliver your service and response to customers. We talked on transparency, and I particularly liked the point that Shashank had around even simple things like the ability or the options to opt out for customers really go a long way in terms of being able to build trust with your customer. I think that, you know, I'm thinking about it now, and I'm like, I'd love to pick a couple more nuggets and maybe see where we could embed this further around the trust conversation in the program, because I believe that it's really a pertinent discussion to have. I think the last point we made was really around the people, a point that I kind of forced onto the agenda, but I think you're absolutely right, Shashank. Sometimes we forget, and because sometimes those benefits are they're hard to quantify. So you can tell very simply that this was an 8-day process and now it's a 0-day process because you digitalized this, whatever. Or you can tell that customers generally are happier because you've run an NPS test and you can tell what customer satisfaction levels are. But I think that the true impact of a lot of the solutions that everybody on this call is involved in building is the impact that ultimately accrues to the individuals, whether in the context of an organization, if you're in a B2B space, or whether in the context of a consumer, if you're in a B2C or B2B2C space. And I think, you know, while it's hard to quantify, I think that it's one of those undermentioned benefits that I think for the most part, particularly in this space where there's huge competition for great talent and people are voting with their feet. And if you can make the employee experience that much better via your solution, don't forget to talk about it in your value prop. Having said that, I want to say thank you so much for giving us your time, Shashank. It was wonderful to host you. Thank you to everybody else on this call, and we'll see you again next week when we'll be talking about serving underserved markets or insurance penetration in underserved markets. And I look forward to seeing all of you on that call then. Have a great evening and have a good night, and we'll speak again soon. For everybody else, by the way, we'll save a recording of this conversation if you want to refer to it, and we'll be able to share the link with you. So don't worry about that. You'll get a recording of the call. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, too, and wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tonya.